Hi everyone, it's Nezzle. Welcome back to my channel Nezzle and to another Nezzle Talks Tuesday video. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some tips to stop caring what people think about you. I know, it might sound like something that is impossible, but hopefully these tips will help you. So if this is a video that interests you, then keep watching, and if you enjoy it, then thumbs it up so I'll know. Leave a comment in the comment section letting me know your thoughts on it, as well as any other topics you may want me to speak about. And if you're not comfortable leaving your topic in the comment section, then feel free to send me an email at nezzletalks@gmail.com with your question or topic, and I will cover it in an upcoming Nezzle Talk. Or you can message me on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is on the screen. If you are not yet subscribed, then I think this is a great time for you to subscribe and join the Nezzle fam. I'm always happy to have new members, and if you peruse the channel, you will see that I post these talks as well as lots of vlogs, mainly to do with Grenada. So if you're interested in what my life is like in Grenada, or if you find these talks helpful, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post. So without any further ado, let's get into today's topic. So, you want to stop caring what people think about you. And trust me, this is something that I have struggled with and something that I still struggle with. To put it in perspective, I'll give you guys an example. So, let's talk this YouTube channel. When I started doing YouTube, I was always thinking about what people would think about me. Yes, I was thinking about what people would think. Because I was always worried that people would laugh at me, or they would judge me, or they wouldn't like me. And all of those thoughts kept me from really pushing myself out there and letting my face be seen. So sometimes I would post videos, but I wouldn't share them. So people were not aware that I posted a video, and then I would feel badly that the video didn't do well, but I didn't have the guts to share them. Or I wouldn't post as often because I was nervous about how I would be received. Now, I must say I've come a long way. Now I am posting all the time. I'm sure people are probably like, what's going on with you? But I have decided that I'm going to do me. And who likes it? Awesome. If you don't like it, that's you. So in today's video, I'm going to try and share with you some of my tips to stop caring. It may not take away the care altogether because, I mean, we're still human. I still care sometimes. If somebody leaves a mean comment or somebody says something, it might touch me for a little while, but the trick is to not let it hang over you. So hopefully these tips will help you as much as they have helped me, and they continue to help me because I try to put them into practice daily. So my first tip that I want to share is that you own your feelings. Let me say that again. You own your feelings. I feel like I said it really quickly the first time. So yeah, you own your feelings. And what that means is that you control how you feel. A lot of times we tell people that they made us feel a particular way. So someone says something and we say, you made me feel sad, you made me feel angry. But no one can make you feel anything. They may do something that you don't like, and in response to that, you feel a particular way, but they didn't make you feel that way. So own the feelings. If someone says something you don't like, you can choose to feel upset about it, or you could choose to be like, you know what, I don't care about you. I don't care about your feelings. And well, if it's somebody that you do care about, then, you may have to tweak that a bit and not necessarily say you don't care about them, but you do have to recognize that they still, no matter how much you care about them, they still cannot control your feelings unless you give them that permission to do so. So that is the first tip, and it's a very, very important one. You control you. Don't give anybody else that power over you, because you're relinquishing your power, you're relinquishing your might. So don't give that away. People are free to be them, but don't let their actions have power over you. Hopefully all of those words got that point across. Now the second point is that what people think about you is their business. That's not your business. Now, what you think about people, what you experience in your day-to-day life, that's your business. But what people think about you is their business. And the reality is that what people think about you oftentimes says way more about them than it does about you. So for instance, if somebody just looks at you and decides they don't like you, like maybe one of you or looking at this video and you're like, "Ah, I don't like her. I don't like her voice. I don't like how she moves. I don't like her face. I don't like her hair." Whatever it is, they may not like about me. But that does not mean that there's an issue with me. It means that there is something in them that is causing them not to like me. This doesn't mean that they are a bad person or anything like that, but it simply means that there is something in that person. Maybe that person's past. So maybe the person who's looking at me and not liking me knew someone who looked like me several years ago, and that person did something to hurt them. And so when they see me, they're reminded of that person. And so they automatically don't like me. So many times you don't have to do anything for someone to decide that they don't like you. Sometimes people just see you and they don't like you. But that's their business. It's not your business. You don't need to be concerned about that. So remind yourself of that. When you have those moments and you start feeling like, you meet somebody and your first thought is, "I wonder what they think of me." It doesn't matter. And especially if you've just met that person, then why do you care? Unless this person is interviewing you for a job or something where their opinion actually matters, then their opinion doesn't matter. Remember that. My third tip is to have a few people whose opinions matter, and everybody else you could just put them on the side. And I say have a few people whose opinions matter because if you just operate under the assumption that your opinion is the only opinion that matters, you may run yourself into some problems. Just because we are human beings, we make mistakes, we are fallible. So you don't want to be relying only on yourself. We were placed on this earth with people, and that's because we are supposed to rely on each other. Iron sharpens iron. So you need to have a few people around that you know will sharpen you and who you can in turn sharpen. But you don't need to have a large circle. You don't need to have a ton of people influencing you and making their opinions known. You don't need that. So find a few people. Choose a few people in your family, in your circle of friends, people that you trust, people whose opinions you value, and allow those persons to have a level of say in your life. At the end of the day, you still make the decisions, unless you're a child, in which case you will obey your parents. But once you're an adult, you make the decision, you make the final decision. But have some people around you who can help guide you and tell you, "Hey, you know what? That's not such a good idea, that thing that you want to do," or someone to just kind of keep you on track, especially if you know that you're the type of person to go off track and waver a bit. So have those people, but everyone shouldn't have the ability to influence your feelings and influence your behaviors. You don't need everyone's permission to make another step in your life or to feel a particular way or to wear a particular thing. In this social media age that we live in, we tend to rely on so many people to validate us. So we wear an outfit and we are so focused on likes and comments. And I'm one of them. I mean, I'm on social media, I'm on YouTube here asking you guys to like the video, like it. But the fact is that we should not be placing value on it. So while you may want it, don't let it define you. Don't care about it to the point where if you don't get the likes, your day is not as great as it would have been if you got it. So you have those few people that you value, who you can trust, and everybody else, if they like you, awesome. If they don't, meh, whatever, right? Another tip is to ask yourself this question. What is the worst thing that would happen if people don't like you? Like really, take a moment now. And whoever it is that you've been wondering about, that, feeling like you really care about this person thinks, and you feel like you don't live up to their expectations, especially someone who does not really matter in the grand scheme of things. So I'm not speaking here about like your parents or your boss or someone that it matters that you impress. Just random people, like people on social media, people in your community, people that you work with who don't influence your paycheck. Those kinds of people. Ask yourself, if they don't approve of you, if they don't like you, what will it really change in your world? What's the worst thing that would happen? Are you going to be homeless? Are you going to be hungry? Is your life going to be somewhat less happy? Are you going to be lacking something? Really ask yourself that question, because so many times we avoid taking risks. We avoid doing things to better ourselves because we are so focused on other people who really should not matter in our journey. So, for instance, going back to my example, I was so worried that people would laugh at me or people would not accept me that for a while I was scared to vlog and to really show myself in the vlogs. And all I was doing was holding myself back because I wasn't giving myself that opportunity to just put myself out there and see what happens. If people liked me, okay. If people didn't like me, okay. What's the worst that would happen? If people don't watch my videos, what's the worst that would happen? If people don't subscribe, what's the worst that would happen? Will I die? No. Will I be hungry? No. My livelihood doesn't depend on it. Yes, I would love to make something of it. But even if people were to watch my videos and laugh at me and say, oh, that fool, what's she doing? Why is she doing these silly things? It's not really affecting me. So ask yourself that. Whatever the situation is that you're worried about, is it something you wear that you think people will laugh at you? What's the worst that will happen if you wear it? What's the worst that might happen if you pick up a hobby that people may not necessarily find cool? Are you suddenly going to have no friends in the world? Is everyone in your life really going to leave you behind because you decide to choose a path that may be different to others? Ask yourself that. Take some time, really sit and consider it. Because many times what we think is the worst and what we think is so bad really isn't that bad at all. And sometimes it actually turns out to be really amazing. So don't let other people's opinions prevent you from taking those big steps that you want to take or that you need to take in your life. Because my next point is that life is short. We only have one life. We go around and we say, YOLO, you only live once. But it's so true. We only have this one life on this earth. And so every day that we waste worrying about what people think is a day that we stop ourselves from reaching our true potential, from experiencing all that this life has to offer us. So if you are a great singer, or maybe even not such a great singer, but you like to sing, don't let other people's opinions of your singing ability stop you from singing your heart out. Sing. If you like to dance, dance. As long as you are not doing something that is harming someone else and that is violating a particular law or something in your country or going against who you are and what you believe as an individual, then do you, boo. Do you. Life is short. So many people are dropping down every day, and it's so hard to wrap my head around it. I see the news all the time, and we don't know when our number is going to be called. So don't let somebody, especially somebody that you don't really care about and who has no bearing on your life and your future, tell you or prevent you from doing the things that you desire to do. My next tip to not caring is to remove negativity from your life in all shapes and forms. So whether that be some toxic people, last week's video I was talking about narcissistic people, but there are lots of other toxic kinds of people. So recognizing those people and removing them from your life if it's possible, like if you have friendships that you see are toxic friendships, you can get rid of those people. And if it's a situation where maybe you can't get rid of them, maybe you work with them and you don't have a choice but to be in that space with this person, you can still avoid how much you interact. Limit your interactions. Limit the amount of time that you spend with certain people. Limit the amount of time that you spend doing certain things. If you know that going on social media is going to evoke a lot of negative feelings within you, then avoid social media. Sometimes it's good to do a social media fast. To take a break from all things social media. Just focus on yourself. Focus on the world that we live in now. We can be so focused on our phones. I said focused a lot. We can be so busy on our phones that we miss our lives. So sometimes it's good to look up. Look up from the phone, look up from the tablet, the laptop, the television screen, whatever it is, and focus on the life that you're living now. And remove all the negativity that you can remove. You will never be able to remove it all, but remove what you can. Let positive things abound. My mantra has been positive outcomes only for as long as I can remember. I've had that as part of my WhatsApp status for years now. And I love it because you focus on getting to positive outcomes, achieving positive things. The journey may not always be positive, but you want the outcome to be positive. And a step towards getting there is removing all of the negativity that finds itself in your pathway. My next tip is to recognize that everyone is not going to like you. Regardless of how great you are, how beautiful you may look, how fantastic you may speak, whatever it may be, everyone is never going to like you. Why? Because we are not all the same. So what I like, you may not like, and what you like, I may not like. So accepting that everyone won't like you will help you in dealing with emotions that may come up when you realize that someone doesn't like you. Because everyone won't like you. So I accept that everyone won't like me. Everyone won't like my channel. Everyone won't like to hear me talk. Everyone won't like these Nezzle Talks. I accept that. I serve the people who like it, and the people who don't simply don't have to watch it. Right? So you can take that approach in your own life. You don't have to be disgusted with it. You don't have to be pompous. You don't have to be like, well, if you don't like me, then here's the door. But, you kind of do say that. You present your best self, not some nasty version of yourself. Present your best self and let the chips fall where they may. Who is for you will be for you, and who is not for you, you don't need them. You don't need the people like that. So if certain people don't want to be around you, you're better off because of it. Focus on bettering yourself each day, becoming a better person, and on attracting positive people to you. And my last tip is just to remember that we all make mistakes. So worrying about what people will think if you make a mistake, or worrying about how people respond when you do make a mistake, is not going to make anything better. It doesn't change the fact that you made a mistake, and it doesn't change the fact that anyone else could have made that mistake. Sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves. We make a mistake, we do something wrong, and we beat ourselves up about it. But anyone else could have made that same mistake, even if they act like they couldn't have, because they're not perfect. So don't be too hard on yourself. Don't focus too much on what people may think, and you want to shy away because you did this one thing wrong and everybody is talking about you. Sometimes that happens. And many times when we think everybody is talking about us, it's just a few people. But like, unless you're some major celebrity or so where a lot of people are talking about you, and still it's never everybody, because some of the most popular people in the world are still not known by everybody. You may find that you come upon somebody and you're like, oh, Beyonce, and they're like, oh, I mean, I really don't think there's anybody who doesn't know Beyonce, but just an example. So everyone is never going to be talking about you. It's never as bad as it seems. So even if you happen to be walking down the street one day and you fell headfirst into a drain, or there's some huge scandal that is spreading about you, or whatever the case may be, one, it will pass. So it is not going to be the talk of the town forever. And two, you are not the only person who has made that mistake. Trust me, someone else has fallen in a drain, someone else has had a scandal, and someone else will. So don't beat yourself up too much about it. Focus on always trying to be your best. Don't limit yourself. Don't accept mediocrity and just be like, well, whatever, I'm not going to care what people think. I'll just be. Aim to be your best, but don't let other people have power over what you do or how you feel. You do you. I know all of these are way easier said than done. It's easy to sit here and tell you, do you, don't care what people think. But the mind is not that easy to control. Sometimes you get a thought in your head and that thought just doesn't want to leave, even though reason tells you that it really is not a rational thought. Our minds can be like, no, it is rational. But keep reminding yourself of all of the tips that I mentioned here. And if I left out any, then definitely feel free to leave it in the comment section so that I will know, and also so that other persons can benefit. Because none of us want to be wasting time worrying about what people think about us and not doing the things that we are purposed here on this planet to do. However many years that we have been blessed with to have life on this earth, I want us all to use those years well. So let's not let anyone keep us from being our best. So please thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, and subscribe and join the Nezzle fam, because I post twice weekly Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m., as well as bonuses. So subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!